Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Happy New Year, a wonderful start to a wonderful day. Let us begin once again with Werewolf, the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest. Today we will be reading and choosing the choice selections for Chapter 4. I hope everyone has had a wonderful New Year's Eve. I hope you all are doing well and being safe with the weather. And I hope that you all take a moment and give a brief moment of silence for the loss that we all have shared yesterday of Betty White, a national treasure, a wonderful woman, and an idol for many. Alright, our moment of silence is complete. Betty White, kick ass, take some names, and we'll see you when we see you. Rumi, Happy New Year. Maybe less of a shit show than the last 2 years. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. But we are going to be getting in to the game / book. Story? Whatever. Hope you all are excited. I am. Make sure you have your hydration. Strap on in. I have my water. Eat those sacrifices or breakfast or dinner, lunch, whatever it is for you. And enjoy the story. The morning smelled of the forest, fur, and strangers. I slowly opened my eyes. The warm space under the low-hanging branches of an old spruce tree was full of other people, sleeping with their muzzles rested on their paws. Stepping over the sleeping forms, I made my way outside. Alone, hiding in the tall grass, I sniffed around. The sky was bright, and the forest around me was dark and full of interesting smells. High in the trees, birds yelled about status, sex, and violence. Something opened in my mind, and memories started flooding back. The fight, the gunshot, the strange dream about being a werewolf. A creature stirred in the bushes nearby, a tall, dark silhouette, a strangely familiar smell. I tensed up and watched the human as they looked around. "Maya, there you are," they said when they noticed me. It was time to get out of there. Suddenly, a feeling like cramp or a spasm surged through me, and everything changed. I was Homid, the human form. My body started resetting itself to the familiar shape, and it hurt. Bones broke and fused again, muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then, panting and sweaty, I was human once more. I was human again. I hit the ground with my bare ass. Colors exploded. The morning breeze suddenly became cold and I shivered. Because that's what birds yell about, Rumi. Don't you know? Confused, I looked at the person approaching me. Get dressed. Olga threw me a bundle of clothes. And stay human. They won't survive the change. Not unless Lisa deems that you're worthy to learn the right, at least. We looked at each other. As for what you saw yesterday, she added quietly, it had to be done. I snatched the bundle and started pulling the clothes on. Sturdy but comfortable boots, cargo pants, and a green hoodie. They fit perfectly. I thought about the previous night when I was raging through the forest, about how differently I experienced the world through the wolf senses, and about the discomfort and confusion of changing shape. There was no denying it. I was no longer human. Tell me everything, I demanded. It seems I've missed a lot about life. Don't worry, there are plenty of stories to tell. We just stood there for a moment, tense and silent. I was wondering how one usually learned that they were a werewolf. It doesn't make any sense, it suddenly struck me. How come nobody knows werewolves exist? We protect the veil, was the answer. It's easy to convince humans that supernatural doesn't exist. They already want to believe that. And the delirium helps. Are they having a caucus like in the Alice in Wonderland? Maybe. You mean delirium, as in the medical condition? I asked, remembering something that I'd read about acute confusional states. You'll have to ask Pat for that, but the gist of it is that humans are incapable of remembering that they saw a Krynos, she laughed. They panic, turn away, and instantly forget every time. Then I realized something important. At some point, the rest of the party had awoken and joined us. The clearing was full of wolves. The wolves were closing in on me. I saw an opening to escape. If I did, I could figure this all out on my own. That one. The headless body was heavy. They said that, as my first kill, it was my burden. It was my duty to take it to the barrows. I don't want to do this, I said as it slipped from my hands again. We are Garu, and when we rage, people die. Olga stood by my side. He had it coming. She accompanied me, carrying the severed head in a bag. The others stayed behind, covering the tracks. But Cornell isn't my kill, I looked at Olga. You know that. Afternoon, Coco. Watch out for barrow wights. I don't think I have anything to fear as a werewolf. He was undermining my leadership, and I couldn't tolerate it anymore. She sighed. We're at war. Olga looked back at me. I'll address it publicly later, but for now, please, let it stay between us. I decided not to push it. I kept dragging the body, getting more tired and more sweaty with every step. Choose your form. Glabro, Krynos, Hispo, Lupus. I think I'm going to choose Krynos. I was Krynos, the war form. Pain hits me like a wrecking ball. Every bone in my body breaks and moves and resets. I roar in agony. Panting and growling, I rise and rise and rise. I am an 8 foot tall, killing machine. The change hurts more than I've expected. My bones change shape, my muscles bloom. Nothing can hurt me. Nothing can trap me. Nothing can defeat me. I roar and feel an enemy tackling me to the ground. No! Not Krynos! Change back! They growl. Oh, but that would decrease my rage and willpower. I could fight, but I would lose health. Fine. I let go of my rage. I was Homid, the human form. My body reset itself to the familiar shape. Bones broke and fused again. Muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then I was Homid again, with keen eyes, nimble fingers, and a silver tongue. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Never enter war form unless your life is in danger. I could see why. And I told you that was the last set of clothes we had. You'll have to go back to the village as a wolf. I'll go with Glabro. I was Glabro, the near-human form. The pain was stronger than I'd ever imagined. I felt my muscles spasm as they rearranged themselves. My jaw cracked and my mouth filled with blood. I clenched my fists and claws drove into my palms. I screamed. And when I rose, panting and sweaty, I was more than human. I was Glabro. Wolfish. Strong. Scary. The world shifted. Not much, but enough. I felt my teeth getting sharper and muscles stronger. I picked up the body. It was a lot lighter. As we made our way through the forest, I realized we weren't alone. Somehow, I knew what I'd see before I ever saw it. A white weasel and a dark gray wolf. Ah, my companion smiled. I see you've noticed our patrons. Yeah, we know each other, I said, remembering my dream. We sort of met the other night. We came here to teach the cub, said the wolf. She smelled of ash and tears. I couldn't believe what I saw. It made no sense. I felt as if my brain was short-circuiting, trying to interpret signals not meant for human senses. It could be an option, yeah, technically. I believe that would lead to more questions, though. When I turned my eyes away from the weasel, it flickered, as if it was just a projection on a broken screen. One moment, an animal. A moment later, just an idea. When it talked, the air smelled of electric discharge, and I felt like the words displayed directly in my mind. But hallucinations or not, they just wouldn't leave me alone. The weasel circled me, and before I knew it, I could feel small claws on my leg, then on my back, and then on my arm. It smelled of musk and electricity, and then it bit my ear. You're only dropping by, Coco? You're a bit tired and probably should go to sleep. Alright, I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure to get some rest if you need it. Bye, rest well. Ignore it. Shake it off. I'm gonna shake it off because it'll increase my rage. Get off me, I yelled, trying to knock the weasel off my arm. Ooh, a feisty one, I like it, its electronic voice echoing in my head. Enough, the wolf growled. Or at least that was what my brain decided to hear. I felt the weasel draw its breath. In the beginning, there was Gaia, aka Mother Earth, and she gave birth to a mighty breed of warriors. the weasel began. It sounded electronical, like a teenager reading a Wikipedia page over a voice chat. They were called Garou. That's werewolves in Werewolfish. And their sole purpose was to protect Gaia. They failed, wailed the wolf. There was danger everywhere, shrugged the wolf, when I looked to her for advice. When time began, Gaia released 3 primal forces upon the earth: the weaver, the wild, and the worm. The weasel continued. The wild was the untamed force of life and creation. The cold, ruthless weaver gave structure to the world, and the worm destroyed what needed to be destroyed, creating balance. So were werewolves creatures of the wild, I asked? An untamed force of life? They were Gaia's children. The wolf snarled, born to herd and contain humans. I can see that something went wrong. I smiled wryly. The weaver grew too ambitious and trapped the worm within its lifeless web. The weasel answered. Confined and denied, the worm went slowly insane. Now, Gaia is dying, choked by the weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. And the wild is not the one you should fight, she snarled. You were born to protect it. Then it turned and led the way. It didn't look much different than other parts of the forest until you noticed the mounds, that is. There was something about the flattened hills that drew my full attention. A memory stirred in my mind. No, it wasn't a memory. It was a feeling anchored in my chest, akin to the taste of ash in my mouth and the smell of smoke. Longing, sadness, resignation. A sense of sacredness. It filled me with a calm excitement, and when I closed my eyes, I saw a fire burning in the darkness. Olga kneeled near one of the mounds, put her hand on it, and whispered a few words. I saw the ground open slowly, like a mouth, in the earth. I sighed. Let's do this. We put the body in the hole. We took the severed head and the body I'd wrapped up in sheets and put them in the hole. They closed slowly, and I could swear I heard the trees nearby sigh in anticipation. The wolf howled, and I could feel the hair on my hands rise. Welcome to your new life, the talking white weasel grinned. We have something else to show you. You are a cub, so you have special privileges, said the weasel. Fusheza will grant you a vision. You must see to understand, said the wolf. Think carefully before you choose what to see. Let's see, do I want to see my family, the forest, or my destiny? I came here for my family, so let's go with that. It was hard to find the barrows, although I knew where they were. When I looked behind me, the path had disappeared. After I stepped on yet another sharp stone, I gave up any false pretenses and let my animal side take over. I was Lupus, the wolf form. I doubled down in pain. My arms and legs cracked and twisted, my skull fractured and reset itself in a different shape, fragments of bone crawling under the skin. My skin was rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When the pain subsided, I was Lupus, a wolf, seeing the world in smells and sounds. The forest was bigger than I imagined, and not easy to navigate. Dead trees blocked the paths trodden by animals. The dense undergrowth made it impossible to walk in a straight line, and soon I was lost. I decided to make it my own way. The forest was different when I was running on four legs. Paths shifted, and what was once a blockade was now an opening. Smells were my guide. More efficient than human eyes, the smell of ash and old blood, bone, and wet stones. And then, I was there. The Barrows. I climbed the nearest hill, and when I was at the top, I stumbled on something, a shape in the grass, a skull, watching me from its bleached eye sockets. There is a swirl. It starts deep within me, and then it expands. Everything is in motion, and there is no center anymore. There is a bird flying higher and higher until it sees a group of houses in the clearing. There is a wolf, her howl like a keen. The houses are mere huts. There is almost nothing that protects the people from the forest. Their clothes are rags, their feet are bare, their hair and long beards are unkempt. There are wolf cubs, and there is blood. Then the howling begins, the mournful, blood-curdling keen of a mother who has lost her children. Watch, whispers the voice in my head. Watch and remember. But I cannot just stand by and watch. I want to act. I howl a song about the cubs, their hopes, and their senseless death. The forest wakes up, erupts with rage, and powerful furred bodies surge through the trees toward the village. The humans try to escape. They scream and beg for mercy. They try to protect themselves with fire. The Garou rise up, their talons red with blood, their eyes glazed with fury, and the fire is yanked from the hands of the villagers. The houses start to burn. The keening turns into a howl of joy. I am there from the very beginning. The Garou have my eyes, my face. They are my family. I am the blood of their blood. I am part of the story from the very beginning. And then it happens again. The humans return. They rebuild the village, this time stronger and better protected. The keening begins once more. Then we, the Garou, come down on them like wolves on the fold. And again, new villages, new fires, more blood. Again and again, seasons change, centuries pass, the keening continues. Villages in the forest burn, until one day there is only one Garou left in the family, and he slays his own kindred in the fit of his first rage. He is young, but I recognize someone in him. An old man I know. He used to tell me stories about the forest before my mother took me away. I stay there and I watch, but I can't move. My throat burns, my stomach is in knots. I want to scream, but I have no mouth. I feel the fire, I smell the blood. I see the large ash-gray wolf looking straight at me. Her eyes are golden, and she weeps. It is in your blood, she says to me. It is your duty. It is you. Come with me, child. Be my fangs and claws. There is no one else to be my cub. Come to me, child. I will nurse you, and I will lick your wounds. We will kill together. We will feast, and we will be merry. The forest will grow. I looked at her, and, perhaps for the first time, I saw her for who she was. Her pelt was marred with fire. Her eyes were smoking embers. Ash was falling from her heaving flanks. She looked old, ancient, seething with anger. She was one of the wolves from my vision, watching my grandfather from the darkness, waiting for the village to burn. But she was more than that. She was also the spirit of the forest. The Pushka herself, wounded, hurt, violated, and mourning all her children that humans had killed. At least that was what I thought when I looked at her. The wolf mother looked back at me, and something in her eyes made me realize that she was following my family for generations, advising them, whispering in their ears. "Join me," she pleaded. "Only you can understand me. Only you." I went to her, and she accepted me. And I finally understood who I was. Darkness fell again, and a bloody tide was loosed upon the world. A lone howl pierced the silence like a single ray of moonlight in the darkness. Then there was another one, and then another, and then another. A choir of voices, triumphant and joyful. When I opened my eyes, I was in a clearing. Around me there were wolves, huge, monstrous wolves, howling at the moon. Instinctively, I changed to join the choir. I was Hispo, the monstrous wolf form. The pain was overwhelming. My spine cracked and twisted, my knees and ankles broke, and I fell on the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My whole skin was on fire, rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When I rose, panting and spitting blood, I was Hispo, with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur, more than a wolf, scary and monstrous. My voice was unsteady at first, but soon I found my own note, a unique addition to the chorus. "Well, hello there," Olga smiled at me, "and welcome to the Sept." "I have no idea what you're talking about," I snapped, angry and confused. "We live in packs," Olga explained, "and when packs unite to fight a common enemy, they form a Sept." I realized that there must be at least 2 packs there. Three of the monstrous wolves changed. Olga and Lisa stood up, human-looking again, their clothes rumpled. A yellow-eyed wolf by their side turned out to be Daniel. "We are the pack of the mourning wolf mother," said Olga. They smelled of ash and tears, and for a moment I saw the wolf spirit among them. A young and black wolf changed into Pat, and Kim turned out to be the other one. "We are all that's left of the winter weasel pack," said Kim. A white shadow settled on Pat's shoulder. I smelled musk and electricity. "We are all guys warriors," said Olga. "In that we have no choice, but we can choose friends who will stand by our side." "Do I have to choose a pack?" I asked, just to make sure. "No Garu can survive on their own," Olga stated the obvious. "You may not like it, but if you want to live, you need us and our support, and we need you." "What are we fighting for?" I asked. "We fight to save our Mother Earth," Daniel wailed. "She is sick, dying, and we are the last beacon of hope against the darkness and corruption that is the worm," Kim said. The last word reeked of decay and burning oil. "I have so many questions," I shook my head. "Why did I hear the moon whispering to me?" I asked. "Luna gave us rage. That is why she's important," Olga said. "And that is why you'll never be able to touch silver again." "What about the spirits?" I asked. "How does that work?" "The world casts a shadow, and we call it the Umbra," said Lisa. And in the shadow live every living creature, every emotion and idea, every important object exists as a spirit. That's all you need to know at the moment. You are from all over Europe, I noticed. Is this like a standard for a sept? I didn't even know if that was a stupid question or a smart one. I looked at Olga. Normally, the tribes keep to themselves, Olga grimaced. But we are in a desperate situation and had to form rather unorthodox alliances. There are at least a dozen tribes, Daniel interrupted, and I hope, Maya, that you will choose yours wisely. So, if I got this all right, I've been conscripted into an ancient war against the worm, I said slowly, trying to put it all together. And the moon gave me rage as a weapon, but I must avoid silver. And there's the whole secret world of spirits, I continued. And I have to join a pack and choose a tribe. Exactly, Lisa nodded. As for the tribe, there's only one person who can mentor you now that Cornell's dead. Olga is from the Black Furies, an ancient tribe of women warriors. Strong, save Gaia, fuck patriarchy vibes. Oh, strong, save Gaia, fuck patriarchy vibes. Got it. Hey, what about my family's tribe, I asked. Lisa winced. Daniel sighed. Olga shook her head. What's the matter? I asked again. Your answers were the get of Fenris, and no one here wants to have anything to do with that tribe. Kim bared their fangs. They stand against everything we believe in. My grandfather didn't even know you. I was outraged. You can't judge me by his tribe's actions. You know that your family was burning villages for centuries, Lisa pointed out. Did you ever wonder why? Get of Fenris are the most radical Yaru supremacists that ever marred the face of Earth. Kim scoffed. Like legit fascist werewolves. Some of them literally worked for Hitler. Thank you for telling me, I said. I had the right to learn about where I came from. For a moment, we were all silent. I wanted to learn more about the tribes and find an option that would really resonate with who I was. So Daniel's cautious, Lisa's neutral, Pat is sympathetic, Kim is neutral. Let's see. Pat is sympathetic, so he might be more inclined to give me more information. So let's talk to Pat. Pat was a glasswalker, and her tribe was finding its niche in cutting-edge technologies, cityscapes, among the strands of the weaver's net. It sounded intriguing. We talked for a while. How did you get Winter Weasel to be your patron? I was curious. I caught it, said Pat. Or rather, I made sure it would have more to eat with me than alone. That's how you catch weasels. But it is a forest spirit, isn't it? I think it's a weasel, so it gets accustomed to live where there's food, and right now, it's the city. It hunts electricity spirits these days, and feasts on them. So you're basically a city dweller, I observed. All glasswalkers are. It's our natural habitat. I feel quite out of place in the forest. Why? I couldn't understand. Lupushka is our home. It may be your home, she said, and suddenly I realized we had less in common than I thought. I'm more of a city girl, she added. We use the Weaver to fight the worm, and the forest is not the Weaver's domain. And I happen to be quite fond of humanity. They have great potential. I wouldn't take you for a werewolf, you know, I said to Pat. She snorted. Why? Because you look mostly harmless, I admitted. She shrugged. I am. And I didn't expect to turn out a werewolf either. I was a student, happy with my tablet and coding, and then boom, I was a guru. How did you meet Cornell? I was curious. I was in his first pack. We were both hanging out with the hacktivist crowd back then, when things went south and he disappeared. I found him. How? I asked. Pat rolled her eyes. Girl, please, I'm a tech nerd. So I found him and talked him into coming back. Finally, I stopped asking. I had to think over what I'd learned. I'm gonna talk to Lisa next. I asked Lisa about her tribe, but she inherited her Siberica legacy from her Buryat grandfather. She said I didn't know the proper legends, customs, and culture to join. How did you become a werewolf? I asked Lisa. My grandpa saw that I had a soul of a wolf and started teaching me about the spirit world. She looked at me with her violet eyes. When the time was right, he guided me through the change. I looked at Lisa and felt a sudden pang of jealousy. I wished my grandpa had been there for me, I growled. I guess he didn't care. Oh, he must have told you many things when you were a baby and you remembered. Lisa said, how else would you know the high tongue? That was a good question. So, I asked, not sure how to approach the topic. Siberica. I mean you're from Siberia? I hesitated, and Lisa smirked. But the tribe name reminds me of something. Yes. Siberic. She pronounced it differently. I'm pretty sure I'm, like, butchering these words. So it sounded like a Polish word. I'm sure I've heard it before, I said, in a different context. In Russian, it means someone from Siberia, but in Polish, it has its own, very specific meaning, Lisa explained. It's a word for political prisoners exiled to Siberia, and there were tens of thousands of them. Which meaning do you identify with, the Polish or the Russian, I asked. Lisa smiled. My tribe name describes both of my legacies. My granny was a political exile, and my grandpa was a Siberian indigenous. I use it because it speaks the truth. What about the Morning Wolf Mother? I asked. She's mighty and powerful. There was a tone of deep respect on Lisa's voice. Tell me more, I asked. That's not a question. She is old. Very old. We don't know when she first appeared here. I think she was the avatar of the forest. The avatar, I asked? An emanation, an embodiment, like she actually is the Pushka, you know? She's powerful. She knows stuff. And she is really, Lisa halted, looking for words. She knows how to find her way to people's heads. Lisa looked at me for a moment, deciding what to say next. I respect her, but sometimes I think she gets into Olga's head too much. Olga lets her in, and the wolf pushes. And I don't know. Maybe it's the right way to do things now? Oh, now she's cautious. She's been talking to me a lot, I admitted, and I agreed to help her. Thanks. That was all I needed to know at the moment. Okay, so Daniel's already cautious. But we're going to talk to him anyway. I asked Daniel if I could join his tribe, but he didn't understand the question. I'm a red talon, he said, as if that explained everything. What are the red talons? I asked Daniel. It is the tribe of the Guru who are born as wolves, Daniel explained. We usually don't mix with others, and we kill humans. But, since I am the only one here, I decided that it was better to join the rest. Why? I kept asking. He looked at me as if I were stupid. What are you, stupid? He asked a second later. There's always strength in numbers. I protect my folk better when there are more werewolves around. Your folk? Wolves. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna get out of this guy. Thanks. That's all I wanted from him. That leaves Kim. Kim told me a lot about bone gnawers, urban werewolves fighting for the disadvantaged, and the marginalized children of the rat. Do they really have a rat as a patron? Do you really have a rat as a tribe patron, I asked? Sure we do, Kim answered. It's a very good patron. Resilient. You want to be like a rat, always managing, always afloat. And this shit here, they gestured around, this shit comes from prejudice, and from exclusion, and from greed. Take greed and prejudice away, and 90% of the world's problems are solved. They sighed heavily. Now, tell it to the other Guru, and they look down on you, because you are a bone gnawer, and they think they are superior. Prejudice everywhere. But I was too exhausted to bug them with personal questions. One thing is bugging me, I said. Why are there so many of you here? Suddenly, everyone is a werewolf, or what? You know nothing, cub, Olga laughed bitterly. A mere century ago, there were dozens of packs in these forests, but none of the old guard survived the 90s. Lisa shook her head. We had to start from scratch. Not counting you, there are only 5 of us, and only 3 local, Pat pointed out. Barely enough for 1 pack. Anyway, before you're admitted to a tribe, you need to prove yourself. What now? Prove myself? I was shocked. Hadn't I proven myself enough already? You went through your first change, Pat said. She was leaning on a tree nearby. And you know everything you need to know at the moment. But you have to go through the rite of passage. Daniel rubbed against my flank, excited. A vision quest. Kim winked at me. And since we don't have time for tests, we need you to solve a real problem. Olga stepped in. Namely, we want you to find a way of ending this logging problem. Lisa wrapped it up. So, how would you like to do it? Oh, joy, I get to choose. I took my time enjoying the moment. My body was buzzing with energy, ready to shift shape on the slightest sign of danger. My mind was clear. I knew what to do. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But I don't know what I want to do. Destroy the logger's image. Couldn't stay quiet. It's one of these two. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, wait. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There it is. We need to destroy the logger's image, I decided. To paint them as bad people. I still think we should just burn those fuckers to the ground, grumbled Olga. I know what Cornell would say, Pat sighed. That we should find and neutralize local forces behind the logging. We can do a live stream from here, a documentary. Show people why the forest is so precious. Show them what's happening here, I continued. I know how to make a thing go viral. When we're finished, the loggers will be the vilest of the vile in the public's opinion. Daniel beamed. Spoken like a true Galliard. You were born under a gibbous moon, weren't you, Maya? It's my auspice, too. How did you know? I looked at him surprised. How did you know? Mom always told me that when she gave birth to me, the gibbous moon was shining through the window, giving her comfort. Gibbous moon. I have no honor? Oh, joy. I also have no cunning. You're right, I nodded. Yes. Garu born under the gibbous moon are storytellers and lore keepers, said Kim, just like you and Daniel and me. It is a path of glory and wisdom, added Lisa. Alright. Your place in the Werewolf Society will be determined by your renown. You can earn glory through defeating mighty enemies and succeeding at dangerous quests. You can earn honor by following your moral imperative and upholding the laws of the Garu. You can earn wisdom by acting efficiently and thinking well before you act. Your renown will change as you play, contributing to Mai's legend among the Garu. Oh, joy. No pressure at all. Olga must have sensed my confusion. Come on, we have a lot to discuss, she patted my shoulder. And we have to find your phone and wallet. I nodded and followed her. I had to tie up loose ends in my old life. I'm sitting on a bus. The sun streaming through the windows is making it hard to see. The narrow road cuts through the dense old forest. I remember doing something important, walking among the trees, looking for something, losing something I loved, gaining something unwanted. And then I'm fully awake, and the memories scatter away. We're almost there, says Anya. I did some searching. She looks at me from over her phone. And this place is amazing. The last primordial forest in Europe. I'm sorry, what? Did we just... I know, right, Esmel? I can't... I'm not able to finish. I start to cough. My throat is sore. My lungs hurt. Oh, Vision Quest! That's what this is. That. I hit the window and it moves, but doesn't break. It's gray and dull, and some of it stays on my hand. The substance is sticky and makes my skin itch. Spiders. My hand is crawling with thousands of tiny spiders, weaving their webs around it with tremendous speed. The whole bus is filled with them. I try to fight them, but they are too small, and there are too many of them, and after a few seconds I am covered in cobwebs, unable to move. I hear a hiss. Then, slowly, a long, dark, bloody shape comes out of Anya's eye socket, pushing the eye out. A black snake that reeks of rotten meat, acid, and oil. Don't fight, Maya. You're already mine, it says. Just like your grandpa. And then it kisses me. Wow, okay. Well, what a... I'm looking for the word, I'm thinking of it, it's in my head, it's not coming to my tongue. A cascading blow of bullshot. You know, that chapter was like, what the hell? Like, how do you end a chapter like that? What was that? Oh, wow. Alright, that was a weird vision. Maybe I made the wrong choice in trying to fight, I guess. I don't know. Either way, that is the end of that chapter. Again, if you've made it this far, hit that like, hit that subscribe, don't forget that notification bell, so that you know when I go live or post and upload. Don't forget to stop by my Twitter. Follow me there so you can keep up with me when I'm not live on YouTube or on Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, don't forget to check me out on Twitch. I go live there a little bit more often during the week and weekend. I play a wide variety of games over on Twitch. Come hang out, say hi, give me a follow there if you want to. Otherwise, just chat for a little bit. Same name, all around. Check me out on TikTok as well. I tend to post a few of my clips here and there from my games, or just random videos that I might duet or comment on, or just make myself, you know, whatever. Until next time, guys, stay hydrated, eat those sacrifices, get some rest, and have a wonderful new year. Entertainment.